Breaking news out of nowhere. The world of women's basketball has just been rocked to its core. Caitlin Clark, the name, the legend, the icon, has reportedly suffered a devastating injury in what can only be described as one of the most heart-stopping moments in recent sports history. But that's not even the most jaw-dropping part. Oh no, because just moments after the incident, shocking and unseen footage mysteriously leaked online. Footage that nobody was supposed to see. Fans are furious. Emotions are sky high. And the WNBA? They're scrambling behind the scenes as ratings plummet faster than anyone could have imagined. Social media is in full meltdown mode, with hashtags like #Pray for Caitlin, WNBA conspiracy, and Justice for Clark all trending globally. Something huge is going down, and everyone wants answers. What happened on that court? Who leaked the footage? And why are insiders claiming there's a cover-up involving top league officials, jealous teammates, and even family betrayal? In a stunning twist worthy of the wildest reality TV drama, this story has spiraled far beyond basketball. We're talking heated locker room confrontations, betrayal from those closest to Caitlin, and a shocking revelation that left even her most loyal fans asking, who can she trust now? Stay right where you are, because what you're about to hear will shake your faith in the game forever. This isn't just a sports injury, it's a full-blown scandal, and no one is safe from the fallout. It all started with what was supposed to be just another high-energy game night. Bright lights, roaring crowds, and Caitlin Clark, the darling of the WNBA, stepping onto the court with that signature fire in her eyes. The air was electric. Everyone knew something special was about to happen. But no one, not even Caitlin herself, could have predicted the chaos that would follow. The first quarter was explosive. Caitlin was on fire, sinking three-pointers with ease, orchestrating plays like a seasoned maestro. Fans screamed her name from the stands, commentators could barely keep up, and even rival players couldn't help but glance at her in awe. She was unmatched, the kind of athlete that comes along once in a generation. But beneath the surface, tension was brewing. Teammates who once celebrated her every move now wore tight-lipped expressions. There were whispers, glances, an eerie undercurrent of resentment. And then, it happened. Midway through the second quarter, during what should have been a routine drive to the basket, Caitlin collided with another player, an aggressive move that seemed just a little too intentional. She went down. Hard. The sound of her hitting the hardwood echoed through the stadium like a gunshot. For a split second, everything froze. The crowd gasped. Cameras zoomed in. And Caitlin didn't get up. Medics rushed the court as stunned. Silence swept over the arena. Her leg twisted unnaturally beneath her, eyes clenched in pain. Her teammates stood motionless, unsure whether to help or to look away. One teammate, Brianna, hesitated before stepping forward, but not to offer a hand. That's what happens when you think you're bigger than the team, she muttered under her breath, barely audible, yet somehow captured by the courtside mic. The audience didn't hear it live, but the footage would soon go viral, unleashing a firestorm. As Caitlin was stretchered off the court, her eyes scanned the stands. Tears streamed down the faces of young fans. Her parents, seated in the VIP section, looked as if their hearts had been ripped out. But the most chilling sight? Her coach, arms folded, no visible panic or concern, just a cold, unreadable stare. It was as if she had seen this coming. Back in the locker room, panic erupted. Phones buzzed nonstop. Reporters camped outside the arena. Players whispered furiously. Did you see Brianna's elbow? Was that on purpose? She's been jealous for weeks. But no one spoke out loud, not yet. As the night dragged on, news channels ran replays on loop. Sports pundits speculated endlessly. But the real bombshell dropped hours later when leaked footage, shaky, raw, and filmed from a private phone, surfaced on an anonymous Twitter account. In the clip, Caitlin could be seen limping backstage, flanked by medics. But then, just off to the side, someone, clearly in team uniform, was caught smiling. That someone? Brianna. The internet exploded. Fans were shocked. How dare she? Is this jealousy? Did she sabotage Caitlin? conspiracy theories bloomed like wildfire. Reddit threads dissected every frame of the leaked video. TikTokers reenacted the moment with dramatic flair. Instagram accounts exposed cryptic posts from months ago where Brianna had posted cryptic captions like, "Watch the throne," and "There's only room for one queen." Now those captions seemed far more sinister. Meanwhile, the WNBA's official statement was brief and cold. Caitlin Clark suffered a lower leg injury during tonight's game. Medical evaluations are ongoing. We wish her a speedy recovery. But fans weren't having it. The hashtags erupted. Protect Caitlin, Team Jealousy, Sabotage in the WNBA. Back at Caitlin's family home in Iowa, her parents were fielding media. Calls, friends were showing up in droves, and a quiet storm was brewing. Her mother, Susan, was inconsolable. "This wasn't just a fall," she cried to a close friend, unaware that a nearby relative was secretly recording. "They set her up." She told me weeks ago that some of the girls were icing her out, that practices were becoming hostile. That clip? It hit TMZ less than 24 hours later, and then came the next twist, an emotional one. Caitlin's ex-teammate and close friend from college, Janelle, did a surprise Instagram Live that night. She had tears in her eyes and trembling hands. "I wasn't gonna say anything," she began, "but I can't stay silent anymore. I warned Caitlin. I told her months ago that not everyone on that team had her back. There's jealousy, and then there's what I saw. People trying to take her down. This wasn't an accident. I believe that with everything in me." The comment section exploded. Hearts, shocked face emojis, exploding heads, and then silence. Janelle ended the stream abruptly after someone off-camera whispered, "You said too much." But the damage had already been done. The narrative shifted. What once looked like a tragic accident now smelled like orchestrated betrayal. The league's most celebrated player, taken out in what now felt like an inside job. And the league? Still silent. As Caitlin lay in a private recovery suite in Los Angeles, shielded from the press, her team's PR tried to clean up the mess. They released a statement on behalf of Brianna. "I would never intentionally hurt a teammate. The fall was unfortunate, and I wish Caitlin a fast recovery." But it was too late. The fans had made up their minds. Protests erupted outside the Yari team's facility. Fans waved signs like "Justice for 22, Bench the Betrayer, and We See You, Brianna." Talk shows picked it up. Former players weighed in. Even a former WNBA legend tweeted, "I've seen toxic locker rooms before. But this feels calculated." By now, Caitlin's injury wasn't just a sports story. It had become a full-blown media circus. Every outlet was chasing a scoop. Every podcast was theorizing. And behind closed doors, things were only getting messier. A leaked email from the team's assistant coach revealed something shocking. "We need to control the optics before it gets out that there was tension brewing for weeks. Caitlin's rise has made her a target. We can't afford a scandal." And then, it got worse. One of Caitlin's close friends from high school, Emily, broke her silence on TikTok. She posted an emotional video holding back tears. "Caitlin's one of the kindest souls you'll ever meet. She called me crying 2 nights before the game. She said she felt unsafe, that people were ganging up on her, that she didn't know who to trust anymore." The video went viral within hours, and as fans rallied harder behind Caitlin, Brianna's own social media turned into a battlefield. Her DMs were leaked, showing heated arguments with teammates, screenshots of blocked messages, and one particularly damning note. "She's not invincible. Maybe it's time she learned that." It was the smoking gun fans needed, even skeptics. Now began to wonder, was this truly an accident? Or a planned takedown of the WNBA's brightest star? But just as the pressure on the league reached a fever pitch, the story took yet another dark turn. An anonymous source claiming to be a former team staffer reached out to a popular YouTube drama channel. What they revealed sent shivers down everyone's spine. "This goes way deeper than Brianna," the source said. "There are people higher up, executives, who weren't happy with Caitlin becoming the face of the league. Sponsorships, media deals, branding, She was overshadowing everyone. They wanted her out of the spotlight. What happened that night? It was just the beginning. And right at that moment, the video cuts to black, leaving viewers gasping. Because what happens next is something no one saw coming. The words "just the beginning" echoed in the minds of viewers like a ticking bomb. Social media was in chaos. The idea that this wasn't just a locker room feud, but a league-level conspiracy, turned a painful sports moment into a full-blown thriller. The anonymous source, who identified only as X, promised to release more information. And 2 days later, they did. The next leak wasn't a video, but documents. Confidential emails, meeting notes, Slack messages between WNBA marketing heads. In one exchange, a name was repeatedly mentioned: Operation Balance. No one knew what that meant until someone pieced together the horrifying context. Operation Balance was reportedly a PR initiative born from internal concerns that Caitlin Clark's rising fame was eclipsing the entire league. Executives feared that other teams, players, and even sponsors were feeling neglected. One internal note read, "We can't let the brand revolve around one face. It's a league, not a solo act." Another, "Engage coaches to promote equity. We can't risk losing our diversity of spotlight." It didn't take long for internet sleuths to connect the dots. Engage coaches? Was Caitlin's coach part of this? Had they enabled the tension to grow in the locker room? Had they let the resentment fester just long enough for it to boil over into something dangerous? Suddenly, that cold, emotionless expression the coach had the night of the injury started to make sense. It wasn't shock, it was expectation. By now, sports media had shifted completely. No longer was the focus on Caitlin's injury itself, but on the motive behind it. Panel after panel discussed how an athlete's fame can outgrow the game, and what happens when the very league that built her turns against her. And through it all, Caitlin remained silent. But others weren't so restrained. A whistleblower, a junior team physio, came forward in a TikTok expose. With a blurred face and distorted voice, she claimed Caitlin had come to her in confidence just weeks before the injury. "She told me her knee had been targeted in practice," the physio said, "that people were bumping her too hard during drills, that the coaching staff brushed it off. She asked me to document her concerns. I did. And now, she's hurt. It's not a coincidence." The video hit 12 million views in under 48 hours. People demanded answers. Sponsors pulled out of deals. Talk of lawsuits began swirling. And just when it felt like the story couldn't get any more twisted, Caitlin's own cousin, Danny, dropped a bombshell on her private, but now unlocked Instagram story. "Don't believe everything you see," Danny wrote. "There's betrayal. Happening inside the family, too. Not everyone wants Caitlin to get back up." Viewers were stunned. The family was left divided. The comment section erupted with speculation. Had someone inside Caitlin's inner circle been feeding information to the league, selling her out for money? A former childhood friend claimed in an interview that Danny had always been jealous of Caitlin's success. They were close when they were kids, but things changed when Caitlin started getting all the attention. Danny always wanted to be in the spotlight, and now she's feeding tabloids. Meanwhile, Caitlin was still in recovery, but behind the scenes, things were moving fast. Her lawyer, a high-profile sports attorney known for taking down giants, began pushing for an independent investigation. She wasn't just seeking justice for the injury. She wanted to expose the people responsible for letting the culture turn toxic. But before the investigation could even begin, another piece of footage leaked. This time, it wasn't from the game. It was from a team dinner, 3 nights before the injury. A security camera angle, grainy but clear enough to identify everyone, seated. Caitlin, Brianna, a few other teammates, the coach. And, most importantly, the moment Caitlin stood up, tried to make a toast, and was visibly interrupted by Brianna. "You think this is all about you, don't you?" Brianna's voice echoed in the footage. Caitlin froze. A few teammates tried to intervene, but Brianna pressed on. "You think because you get the most screen time, the rest of us are here to serve your highlight reel?" Caitlin's face dropped. "That's not what this is," she said softly. "I've worked just as hard as you. We're a team." Brianna scoffed. "No, you're a brand." The footage ended there, but it was all the internet needed. Reactions were split. Some fans took Brianna's side. Maybe Caitlyn did hog the spotlight, they argued. Maybe she forgot about the team. But the overwhelming majority? Outraged, betrayed, and hungry for the truth. And then came the biggest twist yet. A direct message screenshot, allegedly from a WNBA exec's daughter, surfaced on a fan forum. In it, the daughter confided to a friend, "My dad said this was bound to happen, that there were plans to humble her." He said something about an accidental injury going too far. "I'm scared." The internet lost its mind. Journalists begged for an interview. Lawyers issued cease and desist letters. The family denied everything. But the screenshot kept circulating. No matter how fast it was deleted, it reappeared, reposted, requoted, dissected by millions. Amid all this, Caitlyn's silence began to feel ominous. Fans begged her to speak. News outlets offered money for exclusives. But she stayed away, until her 30th day in recovery. That night, her verified Instagram account posted a black and white photo of her in a knee brace, staring out a hospital window. The caption, "You learn who they are when you can't stand up." No names, no accusations, but the message was crystal clear. Within minutes, top celebrities, athletes, and influencers flooded her comments with support. Beyoncé commented, a bee emoji. Serena Williams wrote, "Real queens rise." Even LeBron James posted on his story, "They tried to break her. Wrong move." The momentum shifted. What started as a personal tragedy had become a movement. The calls for an investigation turned into demands for resignations. WNBA headquarters was hit with a protest bigger than anything they'd ever seen. Fans wearing "I Stand with Caitlyn" shirts, carrying cardboard cutouts of knee pads, chanting, "Protect our players." And right as the league was scrambling for damage control, the investigation officially began. That's when things took an even darker turn. An internal audit revealed deleted practice footage, erased injury reports, and, most shockingly, audio files from team meetings where key players voiced discomfort with Caitlyn's media privilege. In one recording, an assistant coach is heard saying, "Let her fall. See if she still gets the cover shoot with a busted knee." Those words, "let her fall." They became the rallying cry of every outraged fan across the country. The court of public opinion was no longer on the fence. It had chosen a side. And the league? They had no place to hide. By now, Caitlyn had recovered enough to walk. She wasn't back on the court yet, but she didn't need to be. Because what happened next would shake the foundations of women's sports forever. An emergency board meeting was called. Executives were suspended. Coaches were questioned under oath. And a bombshell was promised to be revealed at the upcoming press conference. And while the world waited on the edge of its seat for that conference, rumors started swirling that Caitlyn herself might make a surprise appearance, ready to speak her truth for the first time. But just before that historic moment could arrive, just one night before, another leak shattered the silence. An anonymous email sent to every major news outlet in the country. Subject line? "You've only scratched the surface. The real betrayal is still hidden." And attached to that email, a private voicemail. Private voicemail wanted to reset her. This was never about a game. This was sabotage. Protests outside WNBA headquarters grew louder. People brought speakers blasting the leaked voicemail. Teens wore t-shirts with Mason's face and the words, "Real One." Documentaries were teased. Streaming giants reportedly started bidding wars over the rights to the Caitlyn Clark story. And then, after nearly 2 months of silence, Caitlyn reappeared. It wasn't a press conference. It wasn't a social media post. It was a live televised interview, an exclusive with the biggest name in TV journalism, Diane Sawyer. The world tuned in. Caitlyn walked slowly onto the stage, her brace gone but her limp still visible. Her eyes were steely, determined. But her voice, soft, almost broken. "I didn't come here to blame anyone," she began. "I came here to tell the truth. And the truth is, I knew. Not everything. But I felt it. The distance. The resentment. I didn't want to believe it. I kept telling myself, just play, just win. Let your game speak." But sometimes, silence lets monsters grow. Diane leaned in. Do you believe the injury was intentional? Caitlin hesitated. The silence hung thick in the air. I believe someone wanted me out of the way. Gasps. Viewers at home stared in stunned silence. And what about your family? Diane asked gently. Tears welled in Caitlin's eyes. Her lip quivered. That's the part that hurts the most. Not the knee, not the betrayal, the silence. I needed them, and they weren't there. Fans broke down. Twitter exploded with heartbreak. Caitlin wasn't just a victim of sabotage. She was a symbol of loneliness at the peak of fame. But just when it seemed the interview had peaked, Diane dropped one final question. Are you coming back? Caitlin smiled for the first time. They tried to break me. They failed. The crowd erupted. The internet went into overdrive. Clips of her final words were remixed, reposted, turned into inspirational audios. They tried to break me. They failed. It was tattooed on arms, painted on murals. It became a movement. And as the dust settled, there was one final twist. An internal league whistleblower, known only as Echo, reached out to news outlets with evidence of payments made to Caitlin's family. Bank transfers, gift receipts, vacations booked in other names. A full-blown bribery scheme designed to quietly buy their silence as the league set its reset plan in motion. The documents were damning, and they were real. Suddenly, the Clark family's betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was financial. Viewers felt sick, supporters felt vindicated, and the WNBA now faced the biggest PR disaster in its history. As fans demanded legal accountability and sponsors threatened to cut ties, the league went into emergency crisis mode. Leadership reshuffles began. Brianna was quietly traded. Multiple executives stepped down. The coaching staff was fired. Entirely. But none of it could undo the damage. Because Caitlin Clark wasn't just a player anymore. She was a revolution. And just as it seemed the storm was passing, Caitlin teased something new on her socials.